How much does humanity know of all that is knowable? Are we nearly there? Perhaps 90%? Halfway? Or nowhere close? Or perhaps you might answer, who cares? Why should one even care about such a lofty, abstract question? This video aims to show you why it is possibly one of the most important things you will ever consider. Thinking at this level can quietly infuse our entire worldview. Indeed, is it not so difficult to fundamentally change ourselves, even if we are willing? This video aims not at a plain sharing of facts, but rather an adventure into this realm of thinking, a realm that holds immense promise and power, as we will see. Let's explore this together, and you may take what you will. How much does humanity know of all that is knowable? Well, the answer is quite simple. The implications, well, that's where the fun begins. So how much does humanity know? Perhaps we are not even close to knowing everything. Could it be that humanity's knowledge amounts to a drop in a vast ocean, something like 0.0001%? Indeed, answering in a percentage does assume all that is knowable is finite in nature. But could it be that all that is knowable is infinite? In other words, as we continue to learn, does the horizon continue to recede? The famous scientist David Deutsch, who many consider one of the fathers of quantum computing, had much to say about this in his book, The Beginning of Infinity. But in short, I quote, "Our knowledge will always be infinitely far from complete." End quote. To believe that humanity is nearing the end of knowledge would be an act of breathtaking arrogance. To see why, let's zoom out and look at the entire arc of human understanding through history. New knowledge has always flowed, sometimes as a trickle, sometimes as a flood, but has never ceased. For example, the Renaissance accelerated that current, yet even its brilliance pales beside the torrent unleashed during the Enlightenment period, which dwarfed everything that came before it. However fast or slow our pace of new knowledge, the flow of discovery has been unbroken. After all, it took thousands of years of slow progress, but progress nonetheless, in order to ignite the Enlightenment itself. We have no reason to believe that this precedent will not continue. To illustrate, let us consider an example of humanity's expanding knowledge, our worldviews. A worldview represents our highest possible conception of existence. Imagine being born thousands of years ago as a hunter-gatherer. Your worldview would have been confined to the land you had walked and the horizon you could see. The world would have seemed flat. What lay past the visible edge was utterly unknown. In every sense, such a worldview was profoundly limited, I'm sure you'll agree. Now, imagine being born after the discovery that the Earth is not flat, but is a globe. In this case, your worldview would have had no correct inclusion of space. You would have likely conceptualized Earth as the center of the quote-unquote universe, at least the center of the solar system. You would have understood the spherical nature of the Earth, but had no idea about its position in space, axis tilt, and many, many other relevant facts. Then came the revolutionary discoveries from the likes of Copernicus, Galileo, and Newton that displaced Earth from the cosmic center of all things. From that point onward, humanity's worldview began to stretch rapidly outward into the vastness of space itself. And fast forward to today's age, we are able to see what the universe was like only moments after the Big Bang. We have built telescopes capable of peering into the furthest depths of space. We even understand that the light that reaches us is ancient, having traveled for light years, and that viewing it is akin to looking back in time. Incredible. We modern people, with our current maximum worldview, more like a universe view now, we can look back at our ancestors thousands of years ago and laugh out loud. They fundamentally did not know the very shape of the earth that they stood on. Any worldview claim they made was simply laughable with such glaring, missing information. They were incorrect or, at best, missing vast amounts of crucial information. Well, let us continue our intellectual honesty then. 1,000 years now into the future, what might our descendants be laughing at us about? They thought it all started with a big bang, they might laugh. They only understood a tiny handful of the laws of physics, they might joke amongst themselves. Indeed, humanity's explanations will continue to go so much deeper. Our current scientific views will be paradigm shifted so far that the old views will appear primitive in nature. They will appear primitive just as our ancestors' knowledge appears primitive to us today. The precedent shows this to be the case. Knowledge keeps coming. Would we not be extremely arrogant to think our current views are all-encompassing? Perhaps the next 100 years of artificial intelligence will dwarf the Enlightenment period in progress towards new knowledge. That is, knowledge gain could likely accelerate in future. We truly are at the edge of an ocean of mystery. The problem is, we can't quantify the size of the great unknown because, well, it is unknown by definition. So whether or not you agree with David Deutsch that it is infinite, it is still important to keep in mind that we, right now, are conceptualizing all of humanity's knowledge. Let us move from all of humanity down to us as individuals. I am sure you may agree, each of us individuals have no hope of ever catching up to all that humanity knows, let alone to all that is knowable, at least not in the current iteration of our squishy brains. Regardless of whether you agree with David Deutsch or not, when it comes to making our daily decisions, when the rubber hits the road, knowledge is practically infinite from our individual perspectives. There's so much to gain. There is no escaping the inevitable mystery of our existences. Humanity, or at least we individuals, must remain deeply humble. We can be certain of things, but we can never be certain of everything. We stand at the edge of an ocean of knowledge, which we venture into every single day. As the famous 19th century philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche said, we must start with a, quote, profound aversion to reposing once and for all in any one total view of the world, end quote. The frontiers of our current knowledge leave so much mystery and so many problems to be solved. Like the Hydra, we slay one head only to find another 3 in wait. We can be certain about impending uncertainty. What are the grand implications of the unlimited knowledge that stands before us? Well, that's the exciting part. And I'll be producing more videos on these implications in future in this series. Thanks for listening.